Right then, it's now day 5 with no Premier League football, and everyone's starting talking about what are the options, what's going to happen, and I can't tell you what's going to happen. I could only tell you what I would probably do if I was in charge, and there's probably some people going, fuck, you're not in charge. I see it as 2 major options, and I'm going to imaginatively call them Option A and Option B. Option A, I think, is you void this season. And it's my favourite one to do because it means Liverpool don't win the league. Which, for everything else that's gone on, is fucking hilarious, isn't it? If Liverpool don't end up winning the league after all of this, after all the comparing them to this, that and the other, what did they win? Load of games, that was it. Mint. They was going to win a treble about 2 weeks ago. Not anymore, fellas. Now, obviously, that's a massive side note to everything else that's going on across the world and not just in the world of sport. But I think voiding the league makes a lot of sense because we can't actually give you a date. I can't give you a date, and I don't think the Premier League can give you a date. There was an EFL update yesterday where they was basically just saying, we don't know what's going on. So with the fact that no one can give you a day of when it's going to happen or when it's going to be safe to start coming back, I think the most sensible thing for us to do is to void this season and just restart it back in August. As we started in August just gone, let's just start again. If you're in the conference, you're in the conference. If you're in League One, you're in League One. If you're in the Championship, you're in the Championship. If you're in the Premier League, you're in the Premier League. If you qualified for Europa, you're in Europa. And I understand that hamstrings United a little bit, but I don't think there's another fair way to do this. I think calling the season now, 3/4 of the way through it, is not fair either. You could see teams that are just coming into form. You can see players that have been missing could have come back and helped shoot up the table. You see people come in and win things last minute. I'm sure most Liverpool fans would have told you at half-time in their 2005 Champions League win, if they'd have just said, you know what, it's 3-0, you ain't coming back, we're going to give AC Milan the trophy. They'd have been like, hang on, we actually came back and we won that game. Manchester United probably should have been 3-0 down in 1999. We came back and we won that game. The beauty of sport is the comebacks. So I don't think you can just award it for someone being far ahead. It doesn't work like that. While it's mathematically possible for someone else to catch someone, you can't award a league. So for me, you have to make it null and void. If you do that, you go all the way back to August, you scrap the Euros, and we'll see you again in August for a brand new season, and we will start again. That means everyone can have a sensible pre-season, the players can get a little bit of a break, everyone can make sure we come back. Hopefully we beat this virus and it's safe to then congregate in stadiums and for players to be playing each other in games and shaking hands and everything else that goes along with it. That to me seems like the most sensible thing that we could do. Not sure it's the fairest thing, but it feels like it's probably the most sensible. Option B, now I do think Liverpool do deserve the title. I just think it's fucking hilarious if they don't get it. But option B would be to allow this game to be continued, this season to be continued, and possibly give Manchester United a chance at getting into that top 4, where I think we're probably going to end up if we'd have played the remainder of the season. I was very confident about beating Spurs this weekend, and with Paul Pogba looking like he's coming back and Marcus Rashford likely back in the next month or so, I thought United had a real good chance. Ollie's fantastic in the big games. We've got the option to go and win an FA Cup and a Europa League this year. We could still end up with more trophies than Liverpool could this year. They're the ones bleating on about not winning anything. We're still in the fight as well. Now, obviously, they're a bit more likely to win the league than we are in the FA Cup or the Europa League. But what football is for these moments, for winning trophies. And I'm sure they wouldn't want to be gifted the league because there was X number of points ahead. I think they would like to actually achieve the win. I know I'd like to achieve the win. I know I'd like United to go on and win something this season. So option B for me is that as soon as it's safe, and I don't know how you even come to this conclusion, as soon as it's safe, play the games behind closed doors. Get the season finished, and then we'll figure it out. It sounds to me like you're probably still going to have to scrap the Euros. I think the Euros are going to be the Euro 2021 now. I don't think we're seeing them at all this year. Scrap the Euros, move them till next year, get the season replayed or restarted behind closed doors with the sort of frequency that we was going to see anyway, Wednesday, Saturday games, until the season is complete. Then we can have our proper champions. Then we can have teams that are winning it. I mean, if United get all the way to Wembley and we win it, how mad's that going to be watching an FA Cup final and there's like 30 people like, hey, go on, lads, go on. It's not ideal, But it would give us some closure on this season, and it would answer a lot of questions for everybody about what's going on. And then you could start next season. You're not going to have a proper pre-season, I don't think. There's not going to be a proper break for the players. But if you scrap and postpone the Euros, it does give us a time that we could restart the season. Maybe knock it back a couple of weeks and see what happens. I don't really see a third option. I don't really see any other way that doesn't have massive knock-on effects going on years and years. And we've got to remember, in 2022, we've also got the World Cup's going to be in winter as well. So I don't really see there's any other way apart from option A and option B that we can do this. And I've also got questions about, well, what happens if this virus hasn't peaked? And I don't think it's anywhere near the peak yet. What happens if it doesn't peak until July or August? And then we can't start the season with this virus being so prevalent everywhere else. Do we delay the season for another year? Do the FA and clubs around Europe need to think about a strategy to start the league come a January? This sort of stuff needs to come from the top, and it needs to be unified across Europe. FIFA, UEFA, all of the major leagues need to be getting together and need to be like, right, here's option A if the virus gets under control by the end of April. If it doesn't happen then, here's option B, here's option C, here's option D. Football will return one day. It's just, can we all hang on for that to happen while we ride out this virus? That's when it's going to get bumpy. That's when it's going to get bumpy for freelancers like myself who rely on making football content for our livelihood and obviously for the livelihood of my staff. I've seen writers and stuff on social media saying, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I'm in the same predicament as them. Sport needs to come back pretty quick or it's going to get ropey in here. I have a city centre studio. That shit ain't cheap. I have staff. That's not cheap. We're probably all right for about a month and it's going to get really sticky. There's nothing we can do. Just hope this thing rides out and we all get a conclusion. But let me know in the comments, what do you think? Option A, we scrap it, we start again in August next year. Everything goes back. If you're in the Europa League, we all go back. Or do we ride it out until the bulk of this virus is done? The players play behind closed doors and we get some conclusion and we get some closure with this season. That's what we're saying. Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to support us with what we're doing and keep us going through the times when we've had sponsors fuck off on us and everything like that, there's a link for Patreon in the bottom as well. You get some extra content and you get a chat room full of absolute maniacs if you fancy that sort of stuff. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.